All right, so I have an article from US News that I want to go over. It kind of concisely lays out what is going on, what the wording change in the law was, and the exact impacts this is going to have on the hemp industry, just how big this industry is and how many jobs that is a part of it, and how much that this loophole that has been used for years now, how much that actually makes up of the industry. It's really important that like everyone wraps their heads around this, because this is a huge industry, as we're about to read here. And there has to be something that makes these goons care. Like, we've already been over on how weed is significantly better than alcohol. Like, they're not even really comparable. Like, you can't really compare them because they are so different. Alcohol is literally poison. THC is not poison. Any of these synthetic versions of THC that they're speaking of, none of them are poison. Okay, no matter how many buzzwords they want to throw at you. So let's go ahead and get into this article. So, new law tightens hemp regulations, threatening 300,000 jobs. A major change to hemp rules is now the law, and producers warn it could shut down much of the $28 billion industry. Congress last week approved strict new limits on hemp-derived products as part of the bill President Donald Trump signed to end the long government shutdown. And many of you, myself included, was wondering why now? Why all of a sudden? Why, like, almost 7 years, 7 years after the fact, after this industry has grown so big? Why? Was it the alcohol lobby? Was it the tobacco lobby? Was it even the actual legal cannabis lobby trying to eliminate competition? I mean, I think it's a little bit of everything, to be honest, because of just the background of the people who are behind this. Like, you have money coming in all directions. But I think the culmination of what we covered yesterday, which was a letter that was addressed to Congress, both the House and Senate, like appropriations committees and like agricultural committees and so forth. It was a bill, or not a bill. It was a letter signed by 39 state attorney generals. Now, that obviously includes blue and red states. And this was at the end of October that they had sent us to Congress, and basically saying, like, hey, you need to take this dangerous, intoxicating, synthetic thing that's killing children off the market, and you should try to do it ASAP, like even during the like appropriations funding and all of that. So that is my guess to why it was just suddenly put in here after so much time. If you haven't seen that video, I encourage you to check it out. We covered the entire letter, and I got really mad during it, so that's always fun. Okay, where were we? The goal: to close a loophole that allowed companies to sell unregulated food and drinks containing psychoactive compounds made from hemp. And again, I am fine with regulating this stuff. I am fine with making sure that there is an age gate and that there is testing required and all lab reports must be made available and so forth. I'm good for all that. But changing it so you can't have more than 0.3% total THC or zero point 0.4 grams of total weight of THC of any kind, that is a ban. That is not a regulation. That is a ban. The new rules tighten how much THC, the chemical in cannabis that causes a high, a hemp product can contain. Hemp was legalized in the 2018 Farm Bill and must have no more than 0.3% THC by dry weight. And that allowed because cannabis, like the actual flower, it naturally has very little THC. It's, in general, you're not really going to find strains that have above 0.3%. Now, obviously, they're out there, but they're nothing crazy. They're going to be like 1%, or if that. The big thing in like actual flower, which you can call it hemp, you can call it cannabis, because up until this bill was signed, hemp was essentially cannabis. Hemp was everything weed related, if that makes sense. But the thing that was in it that didn't count as THC because it specified THC. Just THC. So the loophole was THCA. THCA naturally occurs in all cannabis hemp products, and it comes in a form of like for actual intoxicating 20 to 30%, sometimes lower, if you know, you know. But it's not psychoactive. THCA does not get you high. You can consume as much THCA as you want and it will not get you high. The trick is when you combust, when you light, when you heat up THCA to a certain temperature, then it turns into THC. So there it is. And now it's total THC when they say 0.3%, so THCA included. But lawmakers say companies are using legal hemp to extract its THC to make stronger products, including drinks, gummies, vapes that act like marijuana. Well, okay, the drinks are like not that strong. Okay, it's like the equivalent of a marijuana beer. But who cares? Who cares how strong they are? It doesn't matter how you could eat as many globs of THC as you want. You're not going to have a fun time, but you're not going to die. On the other hand, alcohol is poison. And people die from drinking that every single day. People do not die from THC every single day. People never die from consuming just THC, no matter how synthetic it is. Lawmakers say companies are using legal hemp to... Okay, already read that. Unfortunately, companies take legal amounts of THC from hemp and turn it into intoxicating substances, Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky said on the Senate floor. He said some of these products are sold in candy-like packaging and in gas stations where children can easily access them. Okay, age-gate them. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration also warned that about Delta-8 THC, the psychoactive ingredient in hemp, products being marketed for medical use despite lacking approval. What do you mean, Delta-8 THC, the psychoactive ingredient in hemp? Delta-8 is like another form of THC. It's not the psychoactive ingredient in hemp. The technical psychoactive ingredient in hemp is just normal THC. But before that, THCA, which gets combusted and then turns into THC. Delta-8 is just like... It's actually weaker than normal Delta-9 THC. Delta-9 is like the normal naturally occurring THC. Delta-8 is synthetic and weaker. Okay. According to the Washington Post, the new restrictions keep the 0.3% THC limit for all hemp-derived cannabinoid products, but it's total. Ban cannabinoids that do not naturally occur in hemp or are chemically altered, RIP Delta-8. Outlaw any hemp product with more than 0.4 milligrams of total THC or similar intoxicating compounds, but some hemp farmers and CBD producers say the restrictions will harm businesses that make non-intoxicating products. Every hemp seed in the country will have to be destroyed, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, who opposed the plan, said. My goat. This is the most thoughtless, ignorant proposal to an industry that I've seen in a long, long time. The U.S. Hemp Roundtable, an industry group, said the changes threaten to eliminate America's $28.4 billion hemp industry and jeopardizes more than 300,000 American jobs. 300,000 American jobs. $28.4 billion and growing fast. That's a lot of tax revenue, by the way. So you may say, well, how much of that is from like non-intoxicating hemp, like actual like hemp paper, fiber, fabrics, whatever? Well, they estimate that 95% of the products could disappear and the states could lose $1.5 billion in tax revenue. CBD producers argue that many popular CBD products which contain non-intoxicating amounts of THC would no longer meet the new limits. CBD is widely used for pain, anxiety, and sleep. Yes, because THC is naturally occurring in like all forms of hemp. So it's hard to hit like, it's just a mess, man. The World Health Organization, who has previously said it has low potential for abuse, some in the marijuana industry support the changes. The new law draws a clear line between intoxicating and non-intoxicating products. Farmers like Paul Murdoch of Oregon say the law will shut down operations that rely on legal CBD. CBD has been a lifesaver for me and for many others, he said. After a serious injury, I found CBD as a pain mitigant to replace opioids. Many others rely on it for a variety of issues, none involving any intoxication, and that may go away. Yeah, so how is this going to fit into like the opioid crisis, or just like people, like there was a trend for alcohol specifically that it shows more and more people, or I should say less and less people are consuming alcohol and acknowledge the dangers of it. And there was also a study we went over that very credibly said like that is linked to the availability of weed and weed becoming more and more accessible, especially through the 2018 Farm Bill. So now we're going to have people going back to drinking. We're going to have people going to opioids. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, it always blows my mind on how weed is just so taboo, and like, just when by every metric, it's so much better than alcohol, from the social aspect to the health aspect to like the fact that's not like to the medical aspect. Like, what are we doing? This is so, it blows my mind. It just blows my mind on how alcohol is so acceptable, but weed is like the devil's lettuce. You know what I mean? Not that I think we should ban alcohol. If it were up to me, I would decriminalize pretty much all drugs and probably legalize and regulate a majority of drugs. But because, like, God, like, I don't like controlling what people do with their own bodies unless it starts to impact others. Obviously, there's limits there, but like, while I'm very progressive economically and very left-leaning economically, like Medicare for all, a livable minimum wage, free college, so forth, I'm very libertarian on social issues. Like, it's pretty much just like, fuck off, stay out of my life. As long as I'm not hurting anyone else or doing anything extremely egregious, then fuck off. But like, whatever. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.